Hello and welcome to the Weiß Schwarz World Finals. My name's Kit. I'm your guest commentator today from the YouTube channel BurnOne. I'm here with the footage for the World Finals. Unfortunately, during the day of the event, we were unable to cast this live due to some scheduling conflicts, but we were lucky enough to be able to get a hold of the match footage so we can release this video later. So it looks like our match right now is going to be KonoSuba versus Persona 5. It looks like the Persona player actually is playing a little bit more of a not normal build, I would say. There's not a lot of decks that currently use the 1-0 Mona combo, but it's definitely a good combo if you're looking for a combo that does not require a reverse. If you're afraid of, I guess, Attack on Titan, though I would say the Joker level 1 game plan is usually pretty strong against that. So it's pretty interesting that he chose that 1-0 combo. And then the KonoSuba player is the same player actually that we saw live for the quarterfinals, I believe. And so he has a pretty standard deck, except he's playing the 8-gate version, which actually has, I would say, a somewhat of a less explosive top end, even though there's a lot of Megumin. That's to be surprising. But we'll just see how this match goes out, especially since the level 1 game is so different. I think if the Persona player went with the normal Joker level 1 game plan, this would be a really tough match for KonoSuba, as it's really hard for the Union level 1 combo to actually reverse the Jokers, especially if he gets a counter in hand. But seeing that he has the Mona level 1 combo in his deck, it might be way more of an even match than to be expected. So the level 0 Futaba that I just got a marker is actually pretty strong in this matchup, I would say. There's not a lot that's able to really easily reverse it once he gets a support in the back row. So I assume the KonoSuba player here is trying to look for the level 0 swimsuit Megumin to be able to force a trade and possibly, or actually, he wouldn't force a trade here because I forgot he does have the Kazuma that gives 500 power in front to characters. So, I mean, if he has the swimsuit Megumin, he'll be able to deal with the level 0 Futaba, which looks like he has it in hand, so that should be the play here. Be pretty interesting to see how Persona kind of recovers from this, because usually Persona's level 0 game is pretty powerful because you cannot get rid of it with level 0 reversers, and not a lot of sets currently play overstated characters like this Megumin. So it's unfortunate that we're gonna lose the Persona player is gonna lose the Futaba so early in the game. Usually this card stays around for at least one extra turn. Looks like, oh yeah, looks like the KonoSuba player is going pretty aggressive game plan here. He's going to try field and go ahead and pull out the level 0 Union that top checks for to add 1 to hand by revealing the level 3 and paying 1. This seems like a really aggressive play, but the way that KonoSuba works with the Union back row is so powerful, as every time you get a stock is just a +1 to hand. So even though he's committing a card to the field this early and bringing his hand size down significantly, he's able to make that up the following turns, because every turn he'll be able to pay 1+1. And it looks pretty good that he did end up hitting that gate too, so it's kind of tough for KonoSuba to really pay out early gate like that. So we'll see what happens here. I think that gate's basically buried for the rest of the game till towards end game. There's not a lot of very easy ways to pay out stock like that, especially when you turn to tri-field. So yeah, it looks like Persona ended up taking up a lot of damage there and is now at level 1. Wish he had that and support out earlier to at least force the trade with the swimsuit Megumin. Oh, looks like he tried to play red without having red there for a second. Unfortunate. Alright, he's using Calling Card. Calling Card is like one of the best cards in Persona 5. It has some of the best deck and field manipulation the set can have. It's probably one of the cards, if not one of the best cards in Persona 5, or what makes Persona 5 even worth playing. But in this case, it's a little bit tough for him, since he'll have to be able to find, looks like he only has yellow in his clock right now, so, or it looks like I think blue there too. So it looks like he's going to have to force a lot of bounces back to hand, which is unfortunately not ideal in this situation, especially with these easy to kill or easy to get reverse on level zeros. So he's letting his opponent plus a lot more than he'd want by bouncing them back to hand. But hopefully he's able to make a comeback here if the KonoSuba player has trouble canceling here. I mean, he can kind of bring the tempo back into his favor a bit, or at least bring the damage up to even here, because it's being a whole level behind this early with Persona, and I'm unsure. I don't think he is playing like the Fox early play level 3, so without that, I mean, it's pretty tough to stabilize after this without getting some really good cancels, or at least forcing big push and damage against your opponent. Alright, so he was able to get the level 1 skull at least. It's pretty big. It's with a full field at 6.5 with a supported 7k, which is good enough to make it really tough for Union to reverse as long as he has a counter. But unfortunately, these other two lanes, it looks like he will end up getting free reverses there, which is kind of unfortunate. Looks like he's paid the 1 to plus here, it looks like, and he's getting the 1-0 Mona combo. Did not see his hand. Does he have the climax? I assume he does, since he tried to play it earlier, but we'll see what happens here. So as the KonoSuba player right now, I definitely feel like I'd be in a really strong position to easily win this game, especially if I get double Union combo here off. It'd be pretty powerful. Let's see if he's able to get level 1 Union. I think that's like an easy, quick snap keep for the level 1 Union. Let's see if he ends up going for it. His hand looks like it's set up to take the Union. Yeah, even in this position, oh wow, he's actually taking the second copy of the level 0 Union. That's pretty interesting. Since he already committed the Kazuma to board, I figured he would have left that out there. And it looks like maybe he's trying here to pay out that gate. I'm not sure if that's the best play, but we'll see what happens here. Alright. So he's probably going to get runner to ditch for a level 1 Union and then play the level 1 Union with climax, since he does have 2 gates currently in his hand. Yep, looks like that to be the play. This is really interesting that ended up in this scenario like this. I probably would have prioritized trying to get double Union out, but I guess his hand wasn't really set up with any other levels 1 Unions. Looks like he's out a lot of climax right now as well. So, I mean, if he's looking to burn through his deck pretty quickly, this was a good way, I guess. So, the level 0 skull, they're 3k right now with the and support. Alright, so yeah. Not too bad as long as he's able to get those 2 reverses off. I think that's pretty good. He's probably going to have to side with the runner here. And he wasn't able to pay out the climax that he did bury early on. It's unfortunate here. I always like this attack order too with the level 1 Union. I mean, if you only have 1 Union on the board, I feel like attacking with it last is pretty good, since it does give you that scry on top at the end. So if you do add to hand, that's just removing 1 potential damage, you get closer to a climax. And then also it puts your blind stock a little bit closer to being able to pay out the following turn. Since he has double level 0 Union on the board, he's able to easily pay out the blind stock that he did generate from that. So it looks like the game's a little bit more even now since Persona was able to get a few good cancels there. Surprised even one of the level 0s lived that turn. So yeah, it looks like the Persona player was looking to play around AOT and other big wall decks, I guess, with the ability to play the Mona combo at level 1, which is on attack, he top checks, and if it's a character, pretty much adds it to hand. It's a decent combo, but it's not one that's used very often since it doesn't have a lot of power behind it all the time, especially on defense. But it's still a decent enough combo to be running, especially if you're already running gate. Instead of running a blank gate, you can put this in and also run it as a plussing combo at 1. Instead of the normal Persona 5 build that usually seen around with the level 1 Joker is just your game plan is to wall your opponent out and combo with the Wind Trigger combo, the 2-1, to get pluses that way. Ooh, that's an unfortunate climax reveal right after refresh, but unfortunately it's always like that. Oh, 2? So he's already out at least 3 climaxes. I don't see any in his hand, so he only has 5 in deck at most right now, which is pretty tough. And it looks like KonoSuba is kind of set in a pretty strong position right now to be able to push the Persona player really hard if he gets really unlucky and is unable to make any cancels here. Especially going into level 2 here, like perfectly at 2-0. If he ends up having the Swimsuit Megumin to clock away, he's able to gain a good tempo advantage by playing his early play level 3 Megumins if he's able to get any right now. He just top decked the Swimsuit Megumin. Oh my god. I can't believe that happened. So this is like a very, very bad situation to be in for the Persona 5 player. So since he's already out 3 climaxes, he only has 5 at most in his deck, and his opponent can now, if he's able to find them, basically tri-field early play Megumin if he wants, and these early play level 3s do extra damage, build extra stock, and then build extra tempo advantage because they're 2 soul beaters as well. And him being able to snipe out the level 0 with the minus 4k from milling 2 characters from his deck is really powerful in this situation because the Persona player is out so many climaxes so early on already. That means getting an extra soul in an empty slot is really, really powerful here. Looks like he wasn't able to find another early play Megumin from the top of his deck using the Union. I'm sure he's going to try to do it again right now, especially since he revealed 2 climaxes. But we'll see here. Yep, he's going to do it again. Let's see if he can find a second one right off the top. Yeah, it looks like he's just here to mill the rest of his deck because he's getting kind of close to refreshing with already so many climaxes out. And he's finally able to pay out that climax at least. Alright, so he wasn't able to burn again, do a single shot burn from the effect, but he was at least able to get the stock back, which is good. So yeah, being able to swing here like 2-2-2 is just so powerful right now. As a Persona 5 player, I feel like I'm in a really, really bad position. The only thing going on here that's pretty good about this is that the level 3 early play Megumin is very weak on defense. So if he doesn't have anything really good going for it, it feels really, really bad. Because usually they are easy to remove the following turn. Looks like he's playing the level 0 Megumin that does mill him 4 cards when it goes to waiting room, so he can kind of hand fix as well as burn through his deck a little faster because he is running a little bit low on climaxes now. Looks like he's wondering if he should play the climax or not. I think he's going to hold on to it though, just to pitch it to the level 0 once it goes to waiting room. And it looks like that's his game plan right now at least. Ooh, swing in for 4. Ooh, that just really, really hurts. With one attack, the KonoSuba player has already pushed the Persona 5 player all the way more damage than he currently has. So, let's see here. Is he even going to be able to cancel at all here? It looks like running it in. That's not horrible. He's going to be able to plus off of this here. And then he'll be able to pitch the second climax, or the other climax, in his hand to be able to burn through his deck a little bit to get closer to the refresh, since he is, I believe there's only 2 climaxes left in the deck. I might be wrong. It's a pretty good pickup there, getting the early play Aqua. The condition for it is 4 or more other characters, pretty much. So it's almost a non-condition to have, and it does build back 1 stock by ditching a card from your hand, and you heal the top card of your clock to stock. That's how you generate the stock back. So it's a really good tempo card. It does gain power on attack too. Yep, here we go. Oof. That's unfortunate. I'm sure if he saw like only 1 character right there, he might have stopped immediately. Surprised he went for the 1-0 counter there, because it's really easy for his opponent to like play around it, but I guess it was the only really, or I mean, was that the only magic character? I believe that might have been the reason he picked it up. But yeah, the 1-0 counter is pretty whatever. It's pretty useless at this point in the game. It's just going to be considered like a 1k backup. So yeah, the Persona player is kind of in a tough position now. Kind of surprised both these players are letting certain cards that I wouldn't imagine normally living more than 1 turn to live on. It's pretty much something you don't see very often, like having the 1-0 Monas live more than 1 turn, because they lose a lot of power after the turn they combo off. And it looks like he might end up having one of the Megamins live as well. He might crash here unless he does overplay his board to be able to clear out the Megamins. Looks like the Persona player is having a little bit of a tough decision here on how he wants to play it out. I'm wondering if he's just going to start committing level 3s to the board here, or... Ooh. It always feels bad when you have to commit level 3s to a board to clear their board and get no value out of the heal that the card provides. I like this climax play here, even though it's not he's not in the best position, really, but... playing this climax, at least you can try to force your opponent to get back even, kind of hopefully push them to level 3, because it looks like, I'm not sure if he realized it, but the KonoSuba player doesn't really have a top end that's really explosive that much, except for the only thing we've seen is the Burn 5 really, and that one always feels a little iffy unless your opponent plays the Aqua from set 1 to reshuffle a deck. We've already seen 1 go to clock. I assume he only plays about 2 of them at most, so I'm not sure if he already has one in his hand, since I haven't been keeping track of it too well, but definitely if he knows his opponent doesn't have it, pushing him to 3 here is probably an okay thing to do. The one thing he'd have to worry the most about is if he draws the level 3 off of the draw and clock draw that he gets from the start of his turn. Oh, that is unfortunate too. I'm not sure if bouncing that level 3 Megaman was a really good play, because that Megaman usually refunds the stock, so it's going to let him be able to play more level 3s as well to fill the board. So if he gets the Megaman that burns 5, it also plays a card for free. So if he plays the early play Megaman out, it does refund a stock most of the time, so he ends up playing 2 level 3s for the 1 stock, which is pretty bad in this situation. I feel like that that bounce there was a mistake, but we'll see how it plays out for him. It might actually work out for him in the end. We'll see. So yeah, he's going to just go ahead and do this here. Oof. So the Persona 5 player is going to take a burn here, and he's opening up another slot. Oh man, canceling one off the top two is such a bad position to be in now. Oh man, I'm wondering if the Persona 5 player will even live this turn or not. So that mill there was kind of unfortunate for KonoSuba. Oh wait, no, sorry. It's actually completely fine. So it looks like he's taking the Aqua. Yeah. So in this position, he's able, if he wants, he can commit another character to the board. Since he has an open slot, it doesn't matter what it is. And then he can play the early play Aqua here and heal one of the gates to stock. If he discards a card here, and then he could pay that out immediately using the Union to plus back to hand, which it looks like that is what he's doing. Looks decently close to refreshing too, but I'm not sure how many climaxes are out, so depending on how many are out, he might dig all the way. So that's not a bad choice when you don't have anything really solid to pick from. The Megumin runner also on play lets you ditch a climax to get a character back from your waiting room that's adventure trait or magic trait. So what's really nice about having that in your hand is if you do end up next turn drawing into a climax or two that you want to change into a level 3 or something, it's easily done with the runner. Looks like Persona 5 is going to live one more turn at least. But like I was saying about the runner, what's so good about that is because he only has 3 stock as well, the runner, if he ends up drawing a climax, he's able to trade it in for another Megumin or Aqua early play to give him another stock back. So he's able to play 3 level 3s next turn, even though he only has 3 stock, if his hand lets him do that. We'll see what happens though, as I haven't been really keeping track of the KonoSuba player's hand too well. So I'm not sure if he's set up for that or not. Looks like Persona is getting a little bit desperate here, having to clock at level 3, which doesn't feel good, especially since Persona's top end doesn't really require Climax to do anything. It's more about clearing your opponent's board. And unfortunately for him, he just didn't build enough stock this game to really be able to do like a double Joker level 3 combo here, since it requires, I believe, 6 stock after his attacks. So he needed to go into this into attacks, I believe, with 3 stock already. This might be the end for Persona 5 here. Personally, I wish he could take the climax to try to force more damage through, but unfortunately he's not able to. Looks like he picked up the refresh counter, probably to hopefully avoid a refresh damage if he does survive, or at least if he's out a lot of climaxes, he can hopefully win that way. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if he'll even end up using the combo with Joker level 3 here, just because his opponent... Oh, cancel on 3-2 feels really bad for Persona. Alright, so triggering here really, really sucks. I'm surprised that he didn't go for a bounce here, because he's so far behind at this point. Oh, another cancel on 3. That's very, very unfortunate. But I'm surprised he didn't go for the bounce here, just for the extra soul output, and hopefully hitting like a big damage through, and then be able to burn 3 times with the Joker level 3. We'll see what happens, but it looks really, really grim for Persona 5 right now. Looks like KonoSuba is just trying to get as much information as possible because there's no way he is going to lose this turn. He's thinking about maybe saving. Is he thinking about this? Alright. That's really interesting play here, I think. But I guess he is trying to snipe some more climaxes for the following turn. So we see here what two or three climaxes in Persona's waiting room here. So he's hoping to maybe snipe something here. There's a really, I'm not sure if I really like that play that much, especially since this prevents him from playing level 3s now that he normally would have been able to get. If he draws a climax off of this, I guess it's not too bad either, though, because then he can swing for 2/2/2. Which feels alright, and the fact that the level 0 Futaba is on the board, that card, as long as it has a marker, is level 1. So if he draws a climax, he can swing in the other two lanes against the Jokers first for 2 each, and if he doesn't trigger him but one of the two stick, he can side the Futaba level 0 for 1 with a climax because it's level 1 with the marker, which makes it precise lethal. This is why usually later in the game you want to avoid committing these level 1s and 2s to the board because it does give your opponent some soul manipulation. Oh wow, he's actually just free playing the Aqua by using the effect from the level 0 Kazuma, which is if you bottom deck that card, you can play the Aqua from your hand for free. So now he's set up one lane there where he can side for 1 if need be. And so these other lanes here, looks like he might just be committing 1 souls to the board. Does he have a climax? It doesn't look like it. So he's just kind of hoping for a trigger here, possibly. So 2. So if this sticks, he's in a really good spot now. Ooh. For 1 here. Oh, good game. Yeah, it was unfortunate it played out that way, but it's a little bit tough. But hope you guys enjoyed the match.